Meanwhile, Swerve Strickland is the new AEW World Champion. He beat Samoa Joe last Sunday. Joe was great. Joe was not on TV this week. I don't know if he's going to just go away for a while. I hope not too long. Joe was great. The timing, if it was different, I would have loved to have seen him hold that title at least a few more months. But the timing was right for Swerve. And sometimes you just have to make the call that the time is now. I would have had Swerve open the show on Wednesday with the promo that they had him do last night on Collision. He came out, he talked about all the crazy things that have happened in AEW this week, including Jack Perry and the Elite beating up Tony Khan. He called it a bitch move. He said the most important thing was him winning the AEW World title, and then he talked about his oldest daughter, saying she's proud of him, but yet she still feels like she doesn't even know him. And he brought up all the missed birthdays and basketball games and said that he can't make up for lost time, but he can blaze a trail as world champion to make sure all the sacrifices were worth it. I like the mention of his daughter, kind of bringing that personal element into it. And then he issued an open challenge for the AEW World title. And Claudio Castagnoli walked out. He accepted the challenge. The two of them had a very good match in the main event to close out the show. You know, on Dynamite, I had an issue with having Kyle Fletcher, who was booked in a random eliminator match against Swerve. I had an issue with him kicking out of the Swerve Stomp, which has been his finish, and it's the move he won the world title with last weekend. But after last night, it looks like the house call kick might be his new finish, which honestly, I think it's a better finish anyway. So I take that back. If that's what he's doing, then that's fine. Then I'm okay with that. Now, the pros are that they opened the show last night with the champion and they closed the show last night with the champion. That's the way it should be. Unless you have some major angle to do like they did on Wednesday. You know, this is a new position. It's a new spot for Swerve to be in, and you want to give him as much of that attention and spotlight as possible because you want the perception of him to be that he's the guy, you know, that he's the man. He's walking around with that world title, and that's how people should see him. So not only did he open the show and he closed the show, he actually got mic time last night, which was noticeably absent from Dynamite. Now, the word is that the reason they saved that promo for Collision was because there was a big NBA game as the lead-in for the show, so they were expecting one of their biggest audiences of the year, ratings-wise, at least for the opening segment. We'll find out tomorrow if that's the case when the numbers come in, but the game was a blowout, so that lead-in may not be as strong as they hoped it would be. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get the most eyeballs possible on your new champion. So I understand that. But they announced that, and that begs the question then, if that was the case, I don't know why they didn't announce that and make a bigger deal about it on Wednesday, but they announced that Swerve also is going to find out who his opponent for Double or Nothing is going to be this Wednesday. They're just going to make the announcement. But he's out here doing open challenges, and I'm thinking, all this person needs to do, whoever it is, just step up on Wednesday. Why wait for Double or Nothing? If this guy's doling out open challenges, you know, if we did not already have a champion in the same company doing open challenges, I might not mind it so much. Seth Rollins did the same thing last year after he won the World Heavyweight title. It was open challenge time. He even went to NXT. He defended the title against Braun Breaker. But all of these open challenges, it's just absurd. Why not have a number one contenders match on TV? You want the champion to wrestle on TV? Why not have a number one contenders match on TV with the champion defending against the winner the following week? That way you can get some world title defenses on Dynamite. You want him to be a fighting champion. You want him to defend on Wednesday. You want him to defend maybe on Saturday. You could do a number one contenders match, and that way, whoever wins, you can promote the title match a week out. See, that I would be okay with. But the open challenge stuff, it's such a crutch these days. It's just so fucking lazy when you have multiple people doing it. Now, I want to see Swerve do well. You know, I actually think he's in a bit of a tough spot because he is now the face of a company that in many ways right now is struggling, which means if the numbers don't suddenly rebound, if they don't turn back around ratings-wise, attendance-wise, you know, they've had a lot of struggles recently. If they don't turn around in the other direction, he's going to bear a lot of the blame for it. And that would be unfair because those problems predate him becoming the world champion. But that's going to rub off on him. Now, it doesn't mean that he shouldn't have the chance to run with it because he's over enough. He's over enough to have earned that run. The AEW fan, they want to see him as the champion. They wanted to see him win that world title, and he did. But it's just that right now there are fewer of those fans watching the product week to week. Now, can he help turn that around? I don't know. But I remember after Eddie Guerrero won the title for the first time, he held it for 4 months before he dropped it to JBL, and he took it very hard. You know, the ratings were down, the houses were down, and he took that personally, like he had let everybody down. You know, it's that old school mentality where you lived and died by the gate. Not even so much by the television ratings, but by how many people bought a ticket to come see you and how many people bought a ticket to come to the building to see the show. If you weren't selling tickets, that meant you weren't drawing. And if you weren't drawing, you looked to the person on top. And in this case, that was Eddie Guerrero. Even though SmackDown had lost Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle, you know, both coming out of WrestleMania. Remember, Lesnar quit. Angle needed neck surgery again, which is when they made him the general manager. So it would be unfair to put all the blame for that on Eddie. But he put a lot of pressure on himself. I don't know if Swerve is the answer to help turn things around for them, but he's one of their most popular babyfaces right now, and I want to see him cement himself as a top guy. You know, he got to this position, right? Now he's the champion. They put the belt on him. But now he's in this phase where he has to prove that he belongs in that top spot. Otherwise, he'll just get knocked down. He'll be right back where he was before. So I want to see him succeed. As far as who his opponent at Double or Nothing could be, I think we may get the Elite making Jack Perry the #1 contender, since they seem to be all in now on trying to make Jack Perry the top heel in the promotion. There's a reason why Swerve came out on Collision last night and he singled out Jack Perry and the Elite, and he said it was a bitch move, what they did to Tony Khan. That will not go over well with the Elite, and that could be your tie-in to them wanting to take that title away from Swerve, because he came out on television last night and he disrespected them. So that would be my guess.